Hello. I know that this is so impromptu, so late. I apologize. I didn't even advertise this episode because I don't know. There's some things that I had to get done throughout the day, some chores and some tasks. Anyway, I thought that I would throw on a quick live stream on what has been going on. Obviously, a really, really big weekend. I mean, historical weekend. Venezuela has been liberated almost kind of it seems, but there's definitely a humongous roadblock that has been lifted off of Venezuela. It seems to be like what I think 20 over 25 years of oppression of them having to deal with socialistic dictators, them being oppressed, starved, thrown into prison for political dissonance and just collapse, humanitarian collapse of that country. And over the weekend, Trump, the Trump administration, the Secretary of War, they went in and they captured Nicolas Maduro. And I mean, I feel like we're living through the 90s or something. Like this is like one of the biggest flexes of the American superpower we have seen in a long time. And I am I sorry, goofy laugh, but I voted for this. Like, I cannot believe like, I can believe it, but I can't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I knew Trump had it in him, but this is like a whole new brand new 2.0 Trump administration level of badassness. And excuse my language, but I mean, this is insane that we toppled a dictatorship. And I mean, it just made me really happy because I obviously, like, anybody knows Venezuelans. I mean, anybody in any city, you know a Venezuelan who has been oppressed, through this dictatorship. Their family has been affected, their hometowns have been affected. Like I went to the border, as you guys know, back in 2021. I practically lived at the border that summer. And people would think that I'm just like some like staunch Republican, some staunch conservative, but like I genuinely believe that some countries have some genuine asylum excuses. Like they have an excuse to be in the United States and flee their countries. And besides Cuba, besides all of these oppressive countries, of course Venezuela is like one of those countries where it's like, yeah, I get it. Like you genuinely deserve asylum here. Like you're not just someone coming from Mexico or Guatemala where like it's not all oppressive, you know what I mean? Like the economy is not toppled. You have a chance in at least those Latin countries. Venezuela, there's really no chance unless you have like some sort of aristocratic favor or something like that. You know what I mean? Um, so I would talk to people at the border who were fleeing Venezuela, and I genuinely understand. Like, I genuinely understand Cubans, Venezuelans, anybody coming from an oppressive country, and just knowing people personally who are from Venezuela and who have been personally affected. Like, it's that vast. It was that much oppression that it would just affected everyday people, and so it makes me very happy to see that Venezuela has been liberated. Now, of course, um, of course, those of you who know who are living through today and know that there is a class of conservatives that seem to be coordinated and just very, you know, um, what's the word? What's the word looking for? Choreographed. Choreographed is like the most perfect word. There's so many conservatives out there that seem so choreographed. And, this doesn't seem like an organic movement where there are conservatives who are aligning with socialistic dictators, who are aligning with the most radical ideologies out there that are on the fringe parts of the political spectrum. And, to me, in my personal opinion, and I've been saying this, and I will continue reminding you guys that I keep saying this in every single episode, like, I genuinely believe that the conservative sphere has been infiltrated by these woke ideologies. Um, in which many of us other alternative influencers call the woke right because they are very reminiscent, very ideologically aligned with radical leftists. They want to align themselves with Marxism and fascism, like genuine fascism, not just like the flippant accusations of 2019, 2016. You know what I mean? Genuinely, these are conservatives that are very concerning, that are aligning themselves with the most fringe ideologies. And so, of course, I say all that, boop, 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 to prime you guys that, of course, these people are not happy that socialistic dictator Nicolas Maduro has been overturned. Of course, they're not happy. I'm not gonna talk too much about that because I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this on your own social media, but I will show you guys, just a clip, a few clips of what I am talking about, but, so these are actually for Venezuelans, the reactions of Venezuelans when they found out that Maduro was captured. So many Venezuelans just could in disbelief, could not believe that this socialistic dictator that has been oppressing not just them, but their families and their communities and their loved ones just oppression, you know what I mean? And these are genuine reactions from real Venezuelans on the ground from different parts of course, from different parts of the world. They've had to be from different parts of the world. That's like another criticism. I'm not going to go on a big tangent about this, but a lot of people are like, well, the clips that you guys are sharing are like from Venezuelans that are in other countries and not from actual Venezuela. Duh, like, yeah, I know, because this was, like, one of the biggest exiles, I think since Syria or something like that, like, one of the biggest exiles, um, from an oppressive country, from an oppressive government structure, a dictator, um, yeah, so of course, they're gonna be from different parts of the world, but anyways, not to go on too much of a tangent, but these are actual Venezuelans that had real genuine reactions to learning this news. I mean, just look at this. This was just amazing to experience over the weekend, just seeing all of this. Look at this.
Todavía tesoro, yo te lo pido, ¿dónde estás?
Like genuine reactions. Cross generational. You kidding me?
Yo quería irme para mi casa. Me quería ir a mi casa.
He wanted to go back to his house, he said. Yeah, so it's like these people genuinely, like cross generational, are almost in disbelief that everything that they've ever known, the oppression, it's just in an instant like that, there's hope. There's a crack of hope. There's a dawn of hope. And like that genuinely oh, like that charged me up over the weekend. I am just so proud of this administration. I am so proud. Like this is what I mean. Like there's fair weather patriots out there that are just gonna they're gonna find every reason every weekend like to turn on Trump and to turn on the administration. There's the single issue voters and I don't understand it. Doesn't mean that I hate you. It doesn't mean that I dislike you. I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? How people who viewed his campaign and what he ran on and somehow transformed what he was very transparent on as something else, like as if he ran on this isolationist platform, which was never the case. Trump never ran as an isolationist candidate or president. Um, Anyway, this made me so proud, so proud. So anyways, you guys saw the genuine reactions, I'm sure you guys know of people yourselves, and if you do, drop that in the comments. I want to read your genuine, people that relationships with people that who are Venezuelan or who are affected by this dictatorship because it's crazy how vast this is. Like everybody knows somebody who has been affected by this. Like it's insane. Um, anyway, It's just insane to me. It's crazy, it's crazy. So anyway, genuine happiness, genuine reactions, and of course, there are people in the woke right that just cannot be happy about this. They have to find the boogeyman in all this, and what do you guys think the boogeyman is? What do you think the boogeyman is? We're gonna talk about Candace, don't you worry. We're gonna talk about Candace because I saw her episode tonight. The woke right, but let's just quickly go through this. The woke right has to find the boogeyman in everything. And what do you think the boogeyman is? Okay. What do you think the boogeyman is in this whole thing, overturning a socialistic dictator who have oppressed his people, starved his people, tortured his people, killed his people, blood on his hands? What do you think the boogeyman is? The Zionists. Yeah. This is the usual suspect of the woke right. They always blame everything on Jewish people or Zionists, and I'm not having any of it, okay? This is just, to me, this is a coordinated operation. This is a coordinated op to just hate a group of people, and I'm not having any of it. Like, I have a platform to speak out against this, and it's like I'm not having any of this. So anyway, this very popular one named James Lee, he's like, Venezuela blames Israel for the attack. Vice President Rodriguez, Venezuela is the victim of the target of an attack which undoubtedly has a Zionist tinge. Insane, you know. So it's like these people, and of course it was Candace Owens. Of course, she also had this like Zionist take. And this is how you know this isn't this is how you know this is an operation. This is how you know this is an operation. People who are standing behind the socialistic dictator, who are saying it's anything but the socialistic dictator, to me, this is something so simple. This is the removal of a hostile power, that has oppressed people. This is, he is charged, Nicolas Maduro is charged with narco trafficking, in which, yeah, I mean, Trump flexed his military power to take out somebody who was a threat to the United States. But this is how you know this is not a genuine reaction when people are taking the side of a socialistic dictator. Listen to what this guy had to say. Just to give you guys a few more details, Maduro was, I believe, in Central Time. I'm in Central Time. He was captured about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, something around there. So it's like in the dead of night, dead of the morning, where everybody was tucked in cozy in their bed. I was tucked in cozy in my bed with my silk pajamas. I woke up and I was like, I woke up to a socialistic dictator captured. So anyway, back to it. This was in the middle of the night. So there's no time to do anything. There's no time to do anything. Everything's closed. Nobody's operational. Listen to what this guy has to say about this. This is crazy.
Riddle me this, Batman. Explain to me how, after Trump goes into Venezuela in the middle of the night, a couple of hours later, in New York, you have an organized march with thousands of people with banners, signs, flags, and the signs are all matching. They've all been printed. They were at the same print press. Who's working overtime?
Overnight.
Who's setting this up? Are these guys paid? Like, there is no way that you can get all these people and have all these signs overnight. I'm sorry, and not even a couple of hours. These people were out in the morning. Trump was going to Venezuela at 2.
Yeah.
2 or 3 in the morning. And these people were out like, what, 7, 8, 9?
Yeah.
Organized? Bro, who is doing this? This is, I'm sorry, this is not organic. Not one freaking bit is this organic. And they were all over Times Square. Like, look at this. Look at these signs.
It's insane. The coordination.
Perfect. All matching. Listen, if they were handwritten, fine. But they're printed. And they have long banners as well. Look at this. This is great.
It's insane. It's genuinely insane. It's genuinely insane. So there's a lot of coordinated, this is what I'm saying, guys. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is not just liberals. And that was like my biggest shout this week. Like, this is not just liberals, having a meltdown over this. And if just before, I'm not gonna go through these videos, but basically these are, Democrats that are that called for Maduro's overturn. The what I forget what her name. I think it's like Genevieve or something like that. Jean something. Karen Jean Pierre um, slams Maduro for his illegitimate inauguration. So there were Democrats that were acknowledging Chuck Schumer was acknowledging this. You know, he criticized Trump for not bringing an end to the Maduro regime. So yeah, there were Democrats that were definitely pro Maduro being overturned, but the tone changed overnight. People were automatic like it wasn't just liberals though. People were siding with a socialistic dictator, and to me that was like the craziest part. Like, how are we here? How are we here? Um, so anyway, I
A
just wanted
couple of
to
hours. These
show you
people
guys
were
that.
out in the
All right,
morning.
so let's pivot to some Candace. I know I'm 16 minutes in. I spent a good chunk, but I mean, genuinely, yeah, we need to spend a good chunk on this. This was something historical. I mean, just the genuine rejoicing for the Venezuelan people. I'm just so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. And I just say, like, keep in prayer for the Venezuelan people. I'm actually going to bring up, because I always want to insert my biblical worldview on these things. And I want to actually bring up what I've been studying. So, one of my New Year's resolutions, number one, is to drink more water. I need to drink a lot more water, and so I'm gonna like make a commitment to try to drink a lot more water. At first, I wasn't even gonna make any New Year's resolutions, to be honest with you, because I'm like, what's the point? Like, I already have a good exercise routine. I have a good, eating routine. I'm pretty good about everything. But you can always refine it a lot more, right? So you can always drink a lot more water. You can always drink a lot more water. But what you could also always do is read more scripture, meditate more on the scriptures. And so I've made a commitment. Um, I'm actually gonna share this with you. I don't have a visual for you. I apologize, but maybe you can just rewind. You can rewind on this, if you want this plan, this Bible reading plan. But this is a really good Bible reading plan if you guys don't have one already. This will pretty much be comprehensive on the entire Bible. But if you don't have a reading plan already, this will get you to read the Gospels 4 times a year. You'll read a proverb, all the proverbs every single month, because there are 30 proverbs. You'll read the Old Testament twice a year. Here it is. So here's the plan for you guys. So if you don't have a Bible reading plan, here's one for you. 2 chapters of Old Testament. This is daily. 1 chapter of Proverbs, and you always want to align that. I always align it with like the day of the month. So today's January 5th. So I'll read Proverbs 5, and I'm actually going to go through that. 1 chapter of so 2 chapters of Old Testament, 1 chapter of Proverbs, 1 chapter of the New Testament, 1 chapter of the Gospels, whether it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, and that will equate to a proverb. A proverb. You'll read all the proverbs every month. You'll read the Old Testament in a year. You'll read the New Testament twice a year, and you'll read the Gospels 4 times a year. And I thought that that was just a genius plan. If you don't have one already, if you're not already following a regimen. So anyway, with that being said, I have been reading through Proverbs 1 through 5. I'm just giving you guys this as a visual. I'm not going to go through 1 through 5 right now. I'm just going to kind of talk on it because I've been reading the Proverbs, obviously 1 through 5, because from the first of the year to the fifth of the year. And this is relevant to what we're going to pivot with Candace Owens, because you guys really want to educate yourselves, not educate yourselves, but educate your souls on wisdom. And you want to retain wisdom. You want to have it written on your heart, and you want to have that retained. Proverbs 1 through 5 up until today, I've read up 1 through 5. It really, really harps on why having wisdom is so important and why you want to run away from the ways of the wicked. Um, and it talks about it personifies wisdom and instruction as women. They instruct, they personify, let's just say they personify them. We don't have to assign a gender to it, but they personify them as people who are calling you to their nature. Wisdom is knowledge, and it says in Proverbs that the start of it actually says it right here in the first proverb. um the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. That has been the theme of wisdom from Proverbs 1 through 5. And basically, the Proverbs are begging people to adhere to it, to learn it, learn the wisdom. And what is wisdom? It is the fear of the Lord. And what is the Lord? The Lord is the word, because it says in John, the book of John, that in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. So what does that say? Like this entire thing is a living, breathing word, and you have to study it, you have to memorize it. And this is why I feel the urge to adhere to God's word a lot more avidly this year. So, even if I am reading like at least the Old Testament every day, I'm going through this study. I'm reading the Bible in a year. And I'm going through this study, so I'm reading a lot of chapters a day. Right now I'm in Exodus, so I just went through Genesis. I'm going through Exodus, and so I'll go through the entire Bible by next year. So I am reading the Bible, but sometimes I'll read so much of that I forget to read the Proverbs. So I'll catch up like the next day. I'll have like devote 2 to 3 hours a morning to just read, and just like I personally have an iPad. I like to scribble on my Bible notes, so that's the way I do it. But anyway, Proverbs 1 through 5, if you guys do anything, read Proverbs 1 through 6 by tomorrow night, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Like the way that Proverbs begs you, like it's like not begging you because it's like harping on you. It's like begging you because it's good for you. It's begging you to know wisdom and to run away from wicked people. Actually, we'll jump to Proverbs 4, because um, Proverbs 4 talks about how the wicked, they have got to do something bad. They've got to do evil. And this is I'm gonna you'd say this, and then I'm gonna pivot to Candace Owens. Unfortunately, let's pray for Candace Owens that she turns away from her ways, because this has really been not good for her. It's not good for her. It's not going to end well for her. The Bible, this is why we read the Bible, because it says like the way that it leads to is destruction, and it's going to lead to nothing good for them. So it says here that the wicked, let me see if I can find it really quick. Wicked. Here it is. Do not set foot at the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evildoers. Avoid and do not travel on it. Why? Turn from it and go away. So you get right here, Proverbs, and I'm just going to harp on this proverb here, Proverbs 4. Um, it says to turn away from evil. Don't walk in the way of the wicked. Why? And it's begging you to avoid it. Don't travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way, for they cannot rest. Who's they? The wicked, the people who seek to do evil, the people who seek to slander, the people who seek to gossip, the people who seek evil. They cannot rest until they do evil. They are robbed of sleep until they make someone stumble. They eat the bread of the wickedness, and they drink the wine of violence. The path of the righteous is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. But the way of the wicked is like a deep darkness, and they do not know what makes them stumble. And that's like the reprobate mind. And we'll talk about the reprobate mind in another stream. But basically, a reprobate mind, when you're giving yourself and actually Proverbs within the Proverbs that I'm reading, it talks about how God will let you, it says, guard your heart, because God will give you up to your own devices, or basically guard your heart because everything flows from it. And it's in one of the, I believe it's in Proverbs 4. I'll have to backtrack on it. I'm sorry, I'm have to back and revise it. Review it is what I mean. But basically, guard your heart because everything flows from it. So if you have wickedness in your heart, everything is going to flow. Everything that flows from it is wicked. And if you're given, and God says that he will leave you up to your own devices, meaning that he will leave you up to like your own natural desires and your own natural ways of doing things, which is not always good, which is why this is supernatural, why the word of God is supernatural, and why you always want to adhere to the word of God, because it's supernatural. It's higher than you. It's higher than your ways, higher the way than you think. So when you adhere to it, you're always doing it's always applicable in your life, and it's always going to do a good work in you, versus your own natural desires, which are, if it's not guardrailed by good, absolute good, which is in contrast to wickedness, which is the word, the word of God is good. If you're not putting guardrails to the things that you do in life, then you're just going to kind of lead your own way, and you're not really, you're going to, kind of find your way to wickedness. Anyway, so there's a deep darkness in wicked people, and they do not know what makes them stumble. And when you're given to your own like wickedness and your reprobate mind, you don't really know what the hell you're doing. You don't even know what you're saying. You don't know what you're leading yourself into, and you can't even catch up to your own lies. You're spinning your own web of lies, and people are always proving you're wrong, and it's like you just don't care. You just don't care. You're going to continue to exploit. And that's really sad, because what I'm describing here is very reminiscent to Candace Owens, who is a modern day example of just this wayward woman who is just committing evil every day by slandering, and just making a group of people just really villainized, vilified. Okay, so let's pivot. Candace Owens came back. Candace Owens is back from her hiatus. And boy, is Candace already on a roll today. Like, Candace wants to cosplay as like a regular person, as this like, regular Joe, everyday Joe. And she's not. She is an elitist, multimillionaire podcaster. She is not censored, which to me is a big red flag, because if it were you or I who were saying the things that she's saying on her social media, especially against a protected class, the Jewish people, and I don't say protected class in a way where it's like, they're just above everybody. They genuinely receive, hence Candace Owens and her cronies, they receive a lot of slander, and they receive a lot of hate. And it's like, yeah, like, I'm not about slandering that group of people. I'm not about slandering any group of people just because of their ethnicity or their religion. You know what I mean? Like, but it's been done by Candace Owens, and it's very questionable, because she does it without getting nuked. She does it without getting demonetized, and it's crazy to me. So she's framing herself earlier that independent media has made it a struggle for deep state to stop the public from learning about what the evil they partake in. They now want speech restricted in the United States because we're the last stand against them. And it's like, Candace has not been restricted whatsoever. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't seen her shadow banned. I haven't seen her nuked. I haven't seen anything taken. I have seen not one clip taken down of Candace Owens. Not one. I brought water this time. I talk a lot. So anyway, she's back on her podcast, and it's been interesting. In this clip, she talks about her being written in the history books, how, she's openly welcoming her being vilified in the history books as they're going to write about her. Let's take a listen to what she has to say.
About that event, and it's never too late. And I want to say this also, history books, they're not going to be fair to me. I think we know that. When I am long gone from this earth, the history books are not going to tell the truth about the things that I did. They're not going to tell the truth
because
about
she knows
my contributions. But I want to be clear that I want to be remembered as the person who was holding the internet back. Last year, I was in earnest holding the internet back. Everyone was coming at Turning Point USA, at all these allegations. And I was like, no, chill, just give them some time. Everybody grieves different.
Okay, let's just pause there. Okay, so there was two things in this clip. First of all, she's talking about the history books writing about Candace Owens. And oh my gosh, it's just like, girl, how self-indulgent she is about this. Like the grandiosity to think that history, like the self-importance that history is going to write about you. You know what I mean? Like I had somebody in my comments say that like they are going to write about her, but it's not in the way that she thinks. They're going to write like a DSM-5 or something like that on her. Um, yeah, I mean, that's just grandiosity right there to think that the history books are going to write about you. But I think she recognizes in her language, she was like, they're not going to tell the truth about me. They're going to, they're not going to give me the credit or whatever. What did she
History
say?
books are not going to tell the truth about the things that I did. They're not going to tell the truth about my contributions. But I want
It's just crazy. It's just my contributions. Your contributions to what? Slandering? Your contributions to, falsifying these narratives about people just so that way you can get your clicks and clout and bankroll your big upcoming lawsuit. You know what I mean? Like no contributions. They're not going to tell the truth about you. I think she knows that, she knows. I think she knows what she's talking about. She knows that people are catching on to her grift. Like she's not being honest. And I think she knows that. So here, she is now talking, she pivots and she talks about that she was the one who held back all of the slander and all of the attacks against TPUSA. Like she was somehow the dam in all of this. And now she's not going to hold back anymore. Listen to this.
who was holding the internet back. Last year, I was in earnest holding the internet back. Everyone was coming at Turning Point USA, at all these allegations. And I was like, no, chill, just give them some time. Everybody grieves differently. Just give them some time.
Look at the way she's smiling. She knows that she's not telling the truth. She's having a lot of fun with this, by the way. She's not telling the truth. She knows that she was one of the instigators in all of this. She knows that she was one of the people who instigated the theories against TPUSA and their staff. And she's straight up lying that she was one of the bottlenecks to the internet, not going all out open season on TPUSA when she was like one of the biggest instigators in all of this.
It's different. Asked about that event, and it's never too late.
Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one. So in this clip from her podcast net, which by the way, guys, if you are wanting to go watch her entire podcast, please, I welcome you to do that. Tonight I watched the podcast and I went on my own to find the clips that I found most interesting, her claims. So this one, again, I think this is just a slip. I think that she knows her own behavior. She knows what she's caused. She knows the lies that she has, propelled into the public sphere. And so she is self-admitting that she is the media's number one enemy. And when she says the media, like it's not just the media, like there's little content creators like me and other people, influencers online that are calling her out. And so it's not just the media. And so she is full on welcoming the onslaught of people, calling her out, which to me tells me that she is fully embracing that she is going to escalate the level of vile. That's what I think.
I am done. Okay. I'm already the media's public enemy number one, but now I feel ready to fully embrace that. I want to let that hit me like a tidal wave. I am done. Okay.
You know what I mean? Right. And I just put that she was wearing a maroon shirt. If you guys remember, if you've been keeping up, she has once claimed recently on a podcast that everybody at UVU that was wearing a maroon shirt was somehow color coordinated in the operation or something like that. So this is just me being silly that she's wearing a maroon shirt. Okay. So here's the next clip right here. So right here, she is framing the AmFest speakers. So AmFest went on a couple weekends ago. Candace obviously was not invited to that. There were a lot of conservative figures that were speakers at this AmFest, and she is claiming that they are adjacent to the Hollywood elite. And I find that very ironic. I'm going to play this clip and I'm going to show you why. And if you've been watching my streams recently, you will know what I'm talking about, because Candace Owens quite literally is an elitist.
The truest take right there on the internet about how people felt when they watched it. It felt like everything that all of us on our platforms said that gave us the ick about Hollywood, when they got up on stage and they mocked people that lived between LA and New York City, when they mocked the farmers and the ranchers and people that supported Trump in 2015. That's the vibe that it's getting. It feels like we're being mocked. Now, for clarity, that's just broadly speaking.
Okay. So these are just edits that I put in
Said
myself.
that gave us the ick about Hollywood, when they got up on stage and
Okay. These are edits that I put in myself. If you guys are familiar with one of my recent streams, I showed you guys that Candace Owens is spending a good buck on her wardrobe. I mean, she wants to like cosplay as if she's like part of the people, that she is like just this regular everyday Joanne, but she's not. She's an elitist millionaire podcaster. She makes hundreds of thousands of dollars on her podcast, I think, per day, or at least per month. Look at the amount that she spends on her clothes. I mean, this silk shirt, $259 if it's on sale, $433. This Casablanca quilted jacket, $1,070. You know what I mean?
they mocked people that lived between LA and New York City, and they mocked
This recent sweater that she wore on her podcast, $495.
the farmers and the ranchers and people that supported Trump in 2015. That's the vibe that it's getting. It feels like we're being mocked.
800, well, on sale, if she got it on sale, $818. Regularly, it would be $1,622 for this dress that she wore at Tucker Carlson's Christmas party.
Now, for clarity, that's just broadly speaking. Like, broadly speaking, it was not relatable.
Okay, this jacket, regularly it would be $1,390. Damn near $1,400 for this one jacket, this petticoat, this little coat jacket. If it's on sale, damn near $1,000. So it's like, yeah, you're not just a regular person.
The
Okay.
general public to see us the truest take right.
So I thought that that was funny. And I did attach the broader, clip that I made about that. And then in this next clip from her podcast tonight, she's I thought that this was pretty dangerous. We're going to listen to this, but she basically dehumanizes people of TPUSA, the staff of TPUSA. So again, you just heard her, kind of make herself as if she's like this commoner, this like of the people. She's not this elitist, but she's ironically calling out AmFest staffers as if they are elitist, and they're not. It's like she is the elitist. But in this, she is dehumanizing the staffers of TPUSA. And this language is pretty dangerous in my personal opinion, especially given the pattern that she's showed, talking about Ben Shapiro, that he's a worm, get on his belly, that he's vermin. I mean, she's had some pretty dehumanizing language, but this to me was like another level.
Looking into this, AmFest is when we realized that something very disturbing is happening in America. I feel like AmFest is, or what it did for me was it contributed to my realization that the future, the dark future that everyone's always predicting, like the AI future, it's here. We're actually here. I think that we are fighting machines. I think that these people are not humans, that they're sentinels that maybe look like humans. That's how I feel. I feel like it's the single solitary event that contributed to my realization that the future is happening right now. And the issue that a lot of these, the gap that's between us and the rest of them is essentially they don't know how to behave like humans. You know what I mean? Like we're fighting an algorithm, a computer code that is presenting as a human being, but actually it can't comprehend real human emotion. And the programmers can't quite write the code specifically enough to emulate real human emotion. And so in response, they're just multiplying the sentinels. Like they're sending more of them to say and do things that are obviously abnormal, that are obviously inhumane. And they're hoping that with enough of them pretending like it's fine, they can override our humanity. Like, well, everyone's saying this is fine, so it has to be fine. Everyone's saying it's fine, so it absolutely is fine. And there's something wrong with you if you don't realize why it's fine that we're hanging up this tent and taking pictures and selfies under it. I don't know. There's something wrong with you. You're just upset. Hey, guys, like, lot going on right now, and it feels like they're just giving us more stuff, more materialism, more trash music, glittery suits, pyrotechnics. Don't understand that we are perhaps being run by society is being run by incredibly evil people, and it's been happening for a very long time. And I don't really care about the new iPhone that's dropping. I don't care if you got into Mar.
But you sure care about that $800 dress, that $1,000 sweater, that $495 sweater. You know what I mean? Like, you do care about materialistic things, Candace. Like, let's not pretend you don't.
Mar-a-Lago last night. There's something more important that's happening here. And the droids keep droiding, right? They're fighting us, and they're just kind of telling us that we have to accept this culture, and we're saying no. So I guess in summary, the battle lines have very clearly been drawn this year. You now have to decide what side you're going to take. Are you with the Sentinels? Are you with the human beings? I've decided very clearly that I'm with the people, and I'm done holding them back because all of this is effing weird.
So she's basically calling for her own fans who have been likened to worse than Antifa. And I'm paraphrasing by Blake Neff, an associate of TPUSA, who has likened these Candace Owens Cantifa, they are adjacent to Antifa, even worse. And she's basically calling them to not hold back and to get even worse. That's how I hear it.
And we're going to discuss even more weirdness that's going on. First, we're going to take a brief break and throw it to our sponsors.
Of course, the sponsors. All right. So then there's just one more clip I want to show you guys. But yeah, I just find that very interesting that she's dehumanizing these people, and she's trying to make herself as a commoner, and Candace Owens is nothing close to a commoner. Again, you guys just saw, like, if you haven't been paying attention to all of the thing, like her clothes, she contradicts herself, first of all the time. She talked about like some international league of assassins trying to assassinate her, ordered by the Macrons, but then she visits Dollywood like a day later. You know what I mean? Like, it's stuff like that. How do you not look at that? Like, you're lying. You know what I mean? She wears thousands of dollars on her clothes, her wardrobe, her dresses. You know what I mean? But she's a commoner? No, she's not. And then in this clip, it's interesting that later down the line in her podcast, she then tries to manipulate Charlie Kirk's own words, talking about CIA operations like MK Ultra, and in my personal opinion, I wonder if like her producer even knew what he was going to feed her, because she seemed to be very surprised about Charlie Kirk's own words. I found this very hilarious.
About the new year, we obviously have to discuss Fort Huachuca because it seems to have driven people insane. Okay? Insane. People are losing their minds ever since we mentioned Fort Huachuca, which signals to everybody that Mitch is telling the truth. Okay. Now, I should tell you that if Charlie were alive today, they'd be calling him demonic. They'd be calling him possessed. They'd be saying that he was crazy for not trusting the government because he was honest. He had an honest perspective about psychological operations. He noticed them. He knew the government was behind these psychological operations, just like the one they have put in place since Charlie was assassinated. Here's what Charlie had to say back in October of 2024 regarding the CIA and MK Ultra. He is speaking with Justice Smith. Take a listen.
Do you think the MK Ultra project ever actually ended, or just went
No,
under a new
have,
name?
I mean, we have no evidence that it ended. And I mean, also we have Operation Mockingbird too, which was another CIA program, which was that they were going to take over all the news networks and have symmetry in their broadcast communications. No, the Central Intelligence Agency is actively involved in mind manipulation of people here domestically. And that is completely against the CIA charter. You must understand, we have Congress, and they're just kind of like a peanut gallery. And then we have a super government that exists above Congress of the Department of Defense, which is the Pentagon, the Central Intelligence Agency, which is its own thing out in Langley, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They run the country. The intel agencies run the country.
I
The
agree.
people don't run the country. The executive branch doesn't run the country. This is why they hate Trump, because Trump was the first candidate since JFK
Uh-oh.
to actually want to declare war on the intel agencies and bring the power back to the sovereign. And both him and Kennedy got shot.
Yes, well, I am just in many ways. I think it would just pain Charlie.
Oh my gosh. I don't think Candace knew what she was reacting to. This is how I know that Candace's podcast is pre-recorded, it's pre-produced, like all of this. It's not live. Like she launches it live, but all of this is pre-recorded. All of this is scripted. Like she doesn't do all of this work on her own. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way. Somebody helps her clip together things and she reacts to them throughout this entire thing. And I think that this was a poorly produced segment because I truly don't think that Candace knew what Charlie was about to say in this podcast clip. Basically giving kudos to Trump for being a unique president who went against the deep state, who was going against intel agencies, and did you see the look on her face? Like just disappointed with what Charlie was about to say. And I don't think she knew. I really don't. I don't know. I don't even think she gets a review of these clips. But yeah, I don't think she expected for Charlie to say that.
Want to declare war on the intel agencies and bring the power back to the sovereign. And both him and Kennedy got shot.
Yes, well, I am just in many ways. I think it would just pain Charlie to see everything that's happened since he passed. I think it would just pain him to see what Trump has become. He's become a deep state, obviously, and never have I ever seen a more aggressive psychological operation or a more obvious operation, for that matter, than everything that the intel agencies have been trying to impart upon the public since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Until, I should say, and relatedly, I saw what happened after we brought up Mitch Snow.
Okay, and then
We now need
she tries to bring up Mitch Snow, which is one of her kooky little guests. Which, by the way, I haven't really covered so much because Paramount Tactical has been doing a phenomenal job at that. But Mitch Snow, I did the initial stream where he accuses Erica Kirk of being at like some military compound, Fort Washuka, for some meeting, which she's insinuating was like some sort of planning meeting for Charlie Kirk's assassination, something like that. I covered that. That was like on one of my streams, but I haven't covered everything downstream to that, which Paramount Tactical and a few other people have been doing a phenomenal job. I'm going to see if Paramount Tactical will come on for a live stream to kind of give his spill on that, because as you guys know, Paramount Tactical Gary, he is a Green Beret. He has great military insight. And so when Candace Owens tries to LARP and cosplay on military, insights and these tips, these hot tips hitting her inbox, and then guests like Mitch Snow, who claims to be like some special ops kind of guy. He is pretty good at debunking all of this, and he has been talking to people. So yeah, that's it. I mean, Mitch Snow, that happened over like the Christmas and New Year's break. And anyway, I again, it's just so intricate, and there's a lot of military insight to that, staff insight, I just it kind of goes over my head, but I just know that her guest is being exposed. We'll just say that. All right. With that being said, I see that there were some clowns in my comments. I got them out. If you guys are interested in becoming a mod and you like coming to these live streams and you'd like to mod for me, please speak up. Say I would like to mod. I don't know if that I'm going to catch your comment. If I don't catch your comment even after the live stream, please do comment on this video. And I would like to try you out as mod because I'm getting these Cantifa clowns commenting on these streams, and they're going to keep coming. These bots, these clowns, these radicals of Candace Owens, and I'm not stopping. I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped. I called her out even before all of this. Even go back on my videos. I have called her out on videos predating Charlie Kirk's unfortunate assassination and tragedy. She was just going cray cray, and this was insane to me that more people weren't catching on to that. So, whew. Anyway, guys, I thank you so much for your support and for your love. I love you guys so much. I'm gonna go ahead and get some rest and prepare for tomorrow. We'll see what brings us what tomorrow brings us. And I hope you guys have a great night, some great rest, and we'll talk to you later. All right. All right. Let me know if you guys want to mod. Comment on my video below. Bye-bye.